once again, just really respect Northwestern the way they played. I thought it was a battle of a football game. We can't be up 15 and let teams come back, but we knew that they're a 60-minute team. Happy with the fact that our offense went down and scored on offense at the end to win the game. Defense got the stop when they had to, and obviously to be able to convert in 4 minutes and get the first down, something we haven't been able to do here. And so it's glad that we made that step. So I'm proud of the guys, proud of their resolve. Excited for this week. Obviously, an excellent USC football team coming in here, ranked team. We all know the atmosphere that it'll be, and so excited to get ready for the week.
Hey, as Emmett mentioned, give shout-outs to trainers and how the kind of work they're doing to kind of keep everybody going and healthy. How do you feel like your team's just physicality is at this moment? And the roster depth, you use a lot of defensive linemen on Saturday kind of bringing people in and out.
Yeah, we felt like there's some guys just watching practice. I'll talk about the D-line first. I'll go back. We felt like there's some guys just watching practice that deserve to play more, just based upon their effort in practice. And just, you start to get guys banged up and worn out a little bit. And so we kind of went the other way. We just said, hey, we're going to put these guys in. Guys like David Huff can get in there and they, get pressure on the quarterback. Cade Petchock deserves to play more. And so it wasn't really, hey, these guys we don't play them as much. It was just more like, hey, let's send some waves. We knew Northwestern was going to run the football. And so we wanted to reward guys who've been practicing at a high level. We believe in practice. Our guys do a great job of taking care of their bodies. Drew Hamblin, our trainer, Mitch Cholowinski, sports science, Kristen and Corey, but all the people that work underneath him. I mean, we have these infrared beds that are amazing, and I can't even get in one anymore because there's a player always waiting. So they're for them, so they should, go first, obviously. But it's just our guys are so committed to taking care of themselves. And I think they also understand if you let up in terms of the way you practice. I mean, you have to be smart, but you lose your edge, and we're a team that needs to have edge. So, where are we at health-wise? I mean, obviously, we're down to some injuries at right tackle. Teddy's done. He won't be able to play anymore. So, Gunnar's banged up. So we're just going to have guys battle through, and that's what. But I also know that that's what every other team's dealing with too, and so need our guys to continue to do what they've been doing.
How do you think Turner did stepping in at right tackle and just staying ready as a veteran guy?
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. He went in at left tackle last week when we lost Pritch, with the targeting, and then flipped over and took no reps at right tackle and went over to right tackle, which I know people, it's the same thing. Like, go switch your grip and hit a golf ball and see how that feels. It's difficult. But Turner, Turner's a guy who started here a bunch. He had a really bad injury last year that took a long time to heal. We weren't sure that he'd even play. And credit to him, he's just a winner. And Tyler Canuck was ready to play, and then Preston Tamuo, Grant Bricks, all those guys, they've been developing, getting better and better and better. Their time's coming, so we have enough guys.
Did you have anything official on Teddy Prochazka after Saturday?
As I said, he's done for the year. Yeah.
Was it another ACL?
Yeah. Hate it for him.
What about Gunnar? How does it look for his outlook this week?
I'm not sure that he'll. He's battling through a real injury, and he's trying to play through it. But it takes a toll on you, and so I'm not sure that he'll be available or not.
What does Hopkins' development look like? I mean, what can take me through that? He's pretty young. I mean, he's not really young. He's young in football.
Yeah, he's young in football. Yeah. He's so big, right? He's 6'7", 6'8", that you're always trying to figure out where to put him. Should he be an outside player? Should he be an inside player? He's got great length. The thing is, he's really, really coachable. And one of my big things is I just want to see a defensive lineman when they have a pass rush actually use a pass rush move. It kind of sounds silly, but it happens a lot. Guys just kind of go down the middle of guys. And David's a guy that actually uses his hands and feet, and he's working really hard. So he's been getting some reps. He got some reps the last couple games and some packages, and now I think we'll continue to use him more and more.
Isaiah had a great catch dragging his foot there for that touchdown. Had a nice catch against Cincinnati. That was contested. Is that something you saw right away in him, that he was a guy that can just kind of get those kind of plays for you? Yeah,
I think the biggest thing I have to say, I thought Isaiah and Dane Key and Ja'Cory Barney's blocking effort on Saturday was the best I've ever seen from a team that I've coached. Even Ron Brown, who, you can't. He's gonna say, yeah, but in 1997 we did this, right? Like he's earned. And I'm not saying in a bad way. He's always gonna have a high standard. even he was like, hey, there was 32 plays of dominant physical contact by our receivers. And so Ron's like the ultimate like truth teller on our staff. Isaiah, from the day he got here, he's so strong, powerful. He's a tailback at wideout, I've said a couple times. And he's got good ball skills, 50-50 contested balls. And so we're able to get in 12 personnel with an extra offensive lineman and run duo and run inside zone. And if you play one high, throw the ball out there to he and Dane. And that's the same play last week we threw that we didn't connect on, against Minnesota, that we were able to connect on this week. So I only say that because, sometimes the players hear a lot about play calling. Players win games, and so that was an amazing catch. You don't make that catch, you might not win that game. And our players are capable of making those plays. And so I thought Isaiah was outstanding. He'll be our game captain this week. Obviously he's a California kid, and this is probably be a fun game for him.
You got some history at Lincoln Riley for the Big 12 days. What jumps out about him, just from your past meetings and what he did at Oklahoma?
Yeah, we went against Lincoln when he was at East Carolina, and I was at Temple, and he was the OC, and I was the head coach. Went against him at Oklahoma. Gone against him last year. Now, ultimate respect for him. I think he's a great guy. First of all, a brilliant offensive mind. He's going to score no matter what. I mean, different kind of quarterbacks, drop back quarterbacks. They had Jalen Hurts, and he's running power read. I think the last year we played him, I think he ran 15 QB draws in the fourth quarter against us. Like, he's just going to find a way to score points. But also, I divide college coaches up into two categories. Guys, if I see them, at a bar or a restaurant and they don't see me, that I'd walk in and say hello to, and guys I just keep walking past. And Lincoln Riley's a guy I'd go sit down with. So I think he's an awesome guy and a great coach.
And last year, their quarterback, that was his first start. What have you seen on tape in terms of his growth from that very first start against you guys last year to now?
Yeah, it's difficult. Last year they were coming off a bye, and we had heard some rumblings that he was going to start. Then they said he was going to start, so we weren't sure what to get. And this week they're also coming off a bye. I love the league giving Lincoln Riley 14 days to get ready for us. Thanks, guys. I say that tongue in cheek, obviously, but that's how much respect I have for Lincoln. I think you see the quarterback. He manages the game at a really high level. He can throw the deep ball. He can move. He can run zone read. They will utilize him as a runner down in the red zone. He gets outside the pocket, can see the field. If you go back to last year, he got outside the pocket to the right that first touchdown, touchdown. Ball got down to the 6, but he threw the ball down there. So he's just another in the long line of great quarterbacks under coach.
You've obviously mentioned giving up the double-digit leads a couple times this season. Is there something you're pinpointing on why that keeps happening? Is it complacency once? No,
that's just. There's no one complacent in football. The other team's good. You know what I mean? We get that stop on 4th and 4 that we think we got, and the whole game's different. So, even sometimes I don't mean to. It's a good question. I'm sorry the way I said that, but it's almost the other way sometimes. We're that touchdown that got out, the defensive end set the edge and was trying to crush the guy down inside so hard. They're playing so hard. It's you still got to keep your outside arm free and keep the ball in between the tackles, and the ball goes out for 60 yards. So, I think our guys. I don't think the fans are ready for it across college football. I don't think administrations are ready for it. But parity is here in college football. It's just everywhere. With the top 7, we have Vanderbilt, and just here. So every week's going to be a battle. I get done with the game. I get in the car with Wish, and I'm like, all right, what happened today? North Carolina almost beat Virginia, a ranked Virginia team. So every week can be whatever. I think sometimes our guys play. They play hard. They play physical. And we get in those moments. I never feel them being oh, here we go again, or anything like that. I certainly don't think it's complacency. Take out Minnesota. Let me say that, because Minnesota, I've already talked about how I felt about the way we handled that. But I just think it's football. The other team's going to battle. And when you have a double-digit lead, the other team, all bets are off. You know what I mean? There's no more pressure anymore. You get to go play free. And so it's a good problem to have, to learn how to handle double-digit leads. I hope I'm in that situation here again soon. But we have a lot of things football-wise that have to get better. Our mindset's really in a really good place, our team, all that stuff. But we're work in progress football-wise.
Follow up on what you said about the receivers and the job that they're doing blocking. I remember last year, maybe the first time we talked to Dana after he got here, that was something that he pointed out that he really identified as needing to improve. So what's been the key in a year of getting that done, and then also the impact? What kind of an impact does it have on the run game?
Yeah, and a lot of our problems last year were on all the kind of perimeter screens and and it's one of those deals where it doesn't work. Everyone's kind of like, why are you doing this? But you play USC, and you're sitting there like, hey, they're going to run power football over here. But if you're not careful, they're going to throw the ball out there, and they make one block, it's a 60-yard touchdown. So it's really a way to play like modern option, right? Like we can run power football with the ability to get the ball on the perimeter. And last year we struggled with a lot of that. And so when Dana came in, he really reduced down like just the drills that we did and made it less about the physicality of it or less about just the general technique and more about, hey, here's the look you're going to get. And so we were a little bit more detailed on angles, and you just started to see it start to come to fruition the second half of last year. What's happening this year is you got just two guys in Dane and Isaiah and really Ja'Cory, but I mean some of our times our 12 personnel that want to go in and hit the safety as hard as they can. Like they're not just trying to make their block, they're trying to come in and hit the safety. And I made the point to our team, I showed the whole team like Northwestern's one receiver was coming in to block us and our safety was beating it. And then we're going in and hitting their safety. Then they put 17 in, their great receiver, and he went in and he hit us the way we hit them. And so great players do everything well. And I think DeKeel does a great job in that room. I think he's been a guy that's really made an impact on those guys. And then, the buy-in from a guy like Dane to be that old and come in with 1 year of football left and be willing to block. I mean, if you go back and watch Emmett's first touchdown run, and Isaiah makes the block on the safety at the point of attack, but you watch on the backside, Dane blocks the backside safety into the back of the end zone. So, I just think I would love to take credit for it. Dane, I think it's the guys with DeKeel doing a great job.
How much momentum do you think your offense can take from the final drive on Saturday and the way they execute?
I think I'm not a big momentum person. I think I tell the guys all the time. I think they have confidence. I think it's just, there was 2 third downs in a row there where we caught the ball and we were like half a foot from a first down. And one, I thought we actually got it to Emmett, and the other one, Dane caught it. It was like 2 yards short. And in a different game, maybe I would have gone for those. But all the 4th and 1s had been really hard to get, and then the one we didn't get, I said, hey, let's punt the ball and use Archie as a weapon and play defense. So I just think it's always you're just kind of a step or two away from getting yourself going. But I hope they feel good about it. I hope they feel good about the fact that we were able to get an empty and drop back and throw the football, and we had good runs and guys made key plays in key times, and so that was kind of a weird second half in that. We drove the ball down in the red zone twice and came away with no points. In the first half, or kind of the fringe area, and then we got the ball kickoff return, we take it back to the house. And so it's then the defense. So we're just kind of a little bit out of rhythm. Then we get a short field. And Northwestern does a great job. I told the guys going in the game it'd be like an option game. They would try to control the line of scrimmage, control the football, shorten the game, and you wouldn't have a lot of plays on offense, which we didn't. So to answer all that, I think our guys know what they can do when they execute a high level. And so my message to them is just focus on execution. Don't focus on the other team. Don't focus on anything else. Just focus on execution. And hopefully we'll do that this week.
Emmett Johnson's legs look live, obviously. But at this point in the season, do you start thinking like a practice pitch count? Do you do anything differently with him during the week games?
No, I think we keep a GPS on everyone. Mitch, we have rep counts on everyone, and this guy can do this, and this guy can do that based on injury, and contrary to what you might hear out there, we don't over practice. There were sometimes some things are not really what people say they are. We as the guys have gotten stronger and bigger, they're right at the right amount. And so, Emmett's the only guy I think he's the only Power 4 player in the country that would have 1,000 yards from scrimmage right now, second in the Big Ten in rushing. And the more opportunities he gets, he seems to get stronger and stronger and stronger. So we went out there Sunday night and practiced. We didn't walk through, we practiced. Our guys are mentally tough. They'll have to be for the team that's coming in. I can promise you that, because this is a really good football team.
The Big Ten at the end of November is likely going to be pushing to have get a 4th team in the playoff this year, and if they do, one of those teams is going to have 2 losses. So this game, in essence, is like a playoff eliminator game. What does it mean to you in November here to be coaching and having this program in that kind of a game?
Yeah, if you lose the game, it's it's like, what's the point? So even thinking that way. But I do think there's something to our guys. I've said since day one, because the first year we were 5-3, and we went 4 games in a row where we had to win. I said, you need to learn how to win in November. Like, Doesn't matter what happens in September. Doesn't really matter what happens in October. Like, you need to learn how to win in November. And we didn't quite get it done. Like, we battled, man. You think about those games, like, we almost beat Wisconsin at home. We had so many turnovers. Then we almost beat Iowa. But that was the message. Like, play great football in November. You're training for November, not for September. Like, beating, whomever 50-0 doesn't matter. It's a step on the road, right? And then last year, we came down this stretch, right? And we lost 3 in a row. We were sitting there, I think, at like 5-4, and it was like felt like playoff games to get into the bowl game, get into the postseason. So I do think there's something to telling the guys, like, hey, you work all year long to get yourself in a position to be relevant in November. I think the biggest thing, though, is, like, depending on how our mindset is, like, you can be the team that showed up at Minnesota, or you could be the team that showed up here. Like, so we can't control. I mean, if USC is just way, way better than us, then so be it. But let's just worry about ourselves, and let's just prepare for ourselves. And I think we have a pretty good team when we do that. So, yeah, I'm excited about the team and the things that they've done and the growth that they've made. My goal has always been, I go back to when I first went to the Giants, and Jerry Reese said to me, like, I always want to come down the stretch of every year with a chance to make it into the college football playoff. But the thing I want our guys to understand is you have to win your way into it. I mean, the whole season's an elimination tournament in college football. So especially in the Big Ten. But there's a bunch of teams right now that are at 5-2 and 6-2, and you have to win your way in.
You talked about not playing the brand this year and being a little bit different than last year. You talked to them about that this week because it is SC? That's
all I talk about every week. Because it's the same as if, like, you're going out there and you're facing somebody, and then people are like, oh, you guys are favorites. This will be easy. It's the same thing. It's like, none of that matters. Every team every week is going to show up and play their tails off against you. And that's part of going from a team that hasn't won to a team that's starting to win. Like, you start realizing, like, wait a minute now. You guys remember my first year when you got the schedule and you guys were like, oh, man, we got these guys at this time? Well, you want to start to become a team that people circle, right? So you're going to get everyone's best shot. With all that being said, I mean, we just try to look at the tape, and I think our guys had elite respect for Northwestern, and I know they have elite respect for USC. You watch their run game, you watch their defense, you watch, the guys they have on defense. I mean, it's as talented a team as there is in the country. So we'll have to play with great effort and technique.
With the blackout and the atmosphere, what kind of impact could the crowd have on a game like this, knowing that you had one a couple last year against Colorado, where the crowd obviously early on kind of took over the place?
Yeah, I think our crowd at home is a distinct advantage. It's a true, not to steal it from A&M, but it's truly a true 12th man. And, I'll be honest with you, like, I'll be careful what I say here. I'm just going to go for it. I'm sitting at the couch after the game. My daughter's like, did you hear the chant? My youngest one, the 10-year-old, she's like, did you hear the chant? When they were saying, refs, I'm not saying that's okay. But it's like, hey, let's get past. We're Nebraska nice. I get all that, but like, let's have a real game day environment. That was an unbelievable game day environment in a battle where we're like the game's coming to start kind of slowly, like the lead evaporating, and our crowd last week just kept amping it up and amping it up and amping up. Like that was a difference. That was a different crowd than 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And so our crowd's awesome, and it's a night game. I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere. All that being said, it will still always come down to blocking and tackling. If our defensive end turns sideways and try to knock the tight end over instead of doing his job, keeping his outside arm free, if we dive at people's ankles, if we don't have our head up for run-throughs, then none of it matters. But, the cadence, the snap count, like in Minnesota, we had to go silent the whole game. It was just really, really, really loud. A lot of these teams are going to come in and try to clap, But our crowd can be so loud that they can deafen the clap if they want to. Like you can't clap. Like we tried to clap at Iowa last year, and we clapped the whole way at Iowa till the last drive, and then we had to go silent because it was just we couldn't even hear the clap. That's how loud it was, and they got it sack fumbled to end the game. So I think I know our crowd can do that. But all that being said, they're an excellent football team, and they're fundamentally sound. But yeah, our crowd will be awesome this week.
Coach, do you embrace the black uniforms and all this stuff? And when this idea comes to you, what's your reaction? Like, hey, how about the USC game? Let's go all black.
Yeah, I just always thought all black doesn't look great in the middle of the day. I think all black looks great at a blackout. And when I was at Big Ten meetings, one of the guys at NBC said, "Hey, hopefully, we're hoping to be able to see you guys at this game." So I think I told you guys early on, I think that'll be a night game. So that's why it was that. We certainly don't pick the uniform for the opponent. It's just more about, hey, what's a night game? And we knew we weren't going to have many night games, but we knew we'd have a night game this game. Yeah, I mean, this is this is the world of recruiting. Kids love this. When people come in, they ask if they can try this on. I mean, even in our official visit pictures, we've only ever let the committed guys wear the black jerseys, right? So it's like, hey, for you to say that, hey, I'm gonna be a black shirt someday, or I'm gonna be this, you've got to be committed to us. So I think in the history of Nebraska football, when you look at a black jersey, a black shirt, I mean, who has more right to wear that than us? I remember being on the defensive staff at Albright College in 1998, and our defense wore black jerseys for practice, the starting defense, because that's what you did if you were a great defense, because that's what they did here. So, and I think our goal has been to do one all-black game every year, and just do it. Every year, hopefully, it'll be a little bit different uniform. We don't want to be, we want to be traditional and iconic and all those things, and have our brand be our brand. But this is something I think is just unique to the DNA of Nebraska. Now, I would not have put this in here for the press conference. I'm not even thinking about this, but they did it. So they heard me talking. Somebody might have heard me talking about it when I walked. You heard me, Amy, talking when I walked in. Said that's stupid, but I get it, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for the kids. It's going to be fun for the recruits. It's going to be fun for all those little kids that line up the tunnel walk and just sit there and dap you up 200 times as you walk in and out. Man, like they deserve to get this kind of stuff too. So, but again, it's going to come down to blocking and tackling.
USC's defense is paired with a really explosive offense. I mean, the numbers are a little skewed, but what do you see out of their defense? What do you like about what they do against opposing offense?
They've got great players. They play really hard, take the ball away, and they're elite in the red zone. At the end of the day, like how many yards you give up, all that stuff. Like if you're elite in the red zone, you hold people to field goals, you're going to win games. I think that was truly, and you go back to last game, that was the difference in last game early was, we were able to score touchdowns coming off the turnover on our first drive. So we're up 14, and they had to kick 2 field goals their first 2 times. So it's 7-6 instead of 14-7 them. So, I think we were 3 for 3 in the red zone last week, which is growth because we haven't been great in the red zone, and we got better. They're an elite red zone defense. They've got guy after guy after guy that are elite players, 5-star recruits. I mean, you watch them, they're long, they're athletic, they can run. They're not wanting for anything talent-wise, and they play with great technique. Their defensive coordinator is an excellent coach, so it's be a real challenge.
I got a game prep and scout for USC. I mean, how beneficial is it having played them last year? Is that familiarity playing for
I think the big thing is when you look at their offense, I mean, Coach Riley's going to adapt every year, and he's going to adapt to what you do. Like, you're in man and you pass a route off. We pass a route off, which is kind of advanced some of the things that we're doing. I tell our guys, hey, he's going to pump that and run a corner route off of it. Like, that's how good he is. He sees what you're doing, and he adapts in game. So, the history is the history, but, he does a great job. And then defensively, they have different players this year. I always think when you play teams that aren't super scheme based, that play what they play, they won't change their schemes, but play what they play. Comes down to their players, their technique, and their effort. And they have got great players who play with great technique and great effort. So it'll be about our guys playing with great technique and effort this week.
What's it like to go into this last stretch with a group on special teams that you probably know can win games for you, make a difference for you?
Yeah, I mean, we've always felt like we've always talked about, like, hey, special teams should win 2 to 3 games a year for you, and you can legitimately say they're doing that. And it's not always just the big plays, right? It's also, at the end of the game, we were trying to kick that ball through the end zone, but you're kicking it into the south end, and the wind here is a real deal, right? And so it just held it up a little bit. They catch the ball. Well, by rule, with 2:44 left in the game, you should make them return the ball, right? You should try to take time off the clock. You shouldn't kick it through the end zone. But in college football, there's always a chance for a ball to be busted out. But in the NFL, you would kick it. So we kicked that ball, it hung up, and I trust our guys went down there and tackled at the 26-yard line. So it's not just a kickoff return. I mean, if you have a chance, Derek, I know some of you guys go back and watch Derek Branch's block on that kick return for a touchdown. It's like an 8-second block. It's dominant. But yeah, there's a bunch of guys doing it. There's a bunch of guys on punt. We goal was to give up no yards returns this year. We're at 1 yard, and we thought we had maybe a minus yard, but the guy got back to the line. But there's guys running their tails off. And so, yeah, I love not just the special teams, not just the production, but I love the way that Mike has done a great job of getting everyone, like, those guys know they're going to affect the game. They're not just playing special teams. And so as a result, they're developing and they're getting more ready to go play on defense and offense. And I think that's the way good teams work. I got a bunch of people sent me the clip. There was a clip, I guess, on social media of him, like, walking up to me and me being like this. And people were like, "Are you and him okay?" I'm like, he's punched me. He punched me in the one game. He tackled me in another game. I said, "Don't touch me again." So I love that. But arm's length, so that there's no problem there for anybody that's worried. He's my boy, but stay over here. So. Yeah, he almost got a flag last game. I yelled him in front of the whole team. That's how awesome he is. He's like, got it, coach. So, but you know what? He's got great energy, and the guys have passion, and the guys that work with him, Nick and Josh and Brett Maher, they do a great job too.
Coach, you got Vincent Shavers playing last game with a club on, and Rocco Spindler really battling through injuries. Just when you're bringing guys into the program, just that resilient toughness, just how do you see that in a player before they're actually suiting up for you?
Well, if there was a way to know it, I'd be a billionaire because I'd sell it to everybody because, you have to find out who people are. And a lot of our guys, when they get here, athletically, they haven't had a lot of adversity. They've always been the best guy. And then you find out, who and what they are. But I think in getting to know V9, Shavers, getting to know Rocco in the recruiting process, getting to know Jacory, getting to know those types of guys, you kind of sense it and feel it pretty quickly. It's kind of hard to be that way and then be super entitled at the same time. And these guys are team guys. They're football guys. I think Sam asked me a question like a year ago, like, what are you always looking for, like your kind of guy? I just like guys who like football. And so not guys who like what comes with football, not guys I like guys who like football. And so those guys like football and they like their teammates. And there's so many more. We try to do a good job of I tell our guys, like, don't limp on the field. Like, you'll get some sympathy, but the other team will know it and go after you. So we try, but a lot of our guys are battling things, but so is the other team. But Rocco, to go out there and play as well as he played with a club on his hand at the offensive line position is really difficult.
Can you speak to your secondary and its ability to limit those big pass plays to this point, and maybe what that challenge will look like against USC this weekend?
It's a challenge every week. I mean, we gave up the slant and go on the second drive last game, right? So people are going to test you. They're going to max it up and take shots at you. But I think Andrew Marshall's one of the best corners in the Big Ten. I think Sierra's an elite player. Deshaun Singleton, he's playing at a high level. Jameer Khan went in at the end of the game ready to play. Donovan Jones played a great game and showed up in the run game. So we've got really good players back there, and they're really bought in. Rex Guthrie, Marquise Buford. I mean, a ton of guys that can play. They'll have to show up. Make no mistake. Like the number 6 is a great receiver. USC has great receiving tight ends. But Lincoln, they are a run-first football team, and everybody better show up and buckle their chin strap and turn this into a physical battle first. So you'll have to play man. You'll have to play zone. You'll have to play a little bit of everything, and our guys just have to execute. And the biggest thing is we have to tackle well.
You've mentioned Sierra's leadership for this team so much, him playing his old team USC. How have you seen him step up more just to treat this, like any other game?
I'm sure last year going back to USC was emotional for him, and then he had the pick 6, right? And then he's just such a different. He's just grown so much from when he first got here, and he got here in a great place. I mean, just seeing the maturity and the leadership. I mean, I truly, every Thursday night, get a text message from him, can you please turn the stadium lights on? He's out there every Thursday night when he's got a whole group of guys with him. And he's doing what he's doing on the field, he's doing way more behind the scenes for our culture and the things that we want to have moving forward. So I'm sure he'll be really, excited to play against his buddies and friends. Like last year, he knew a bunch of the guys, At the same time, you got to keep the main thing, and that's being focused and neutral and playing each play. And if there's anybody that I trust to do it, it's him. I walked in the team meeting yesterday, and I talked first, and we dap each other up. And he walked up and dapped me up. Tell the guys move around. I said, "Hey, I'm going to light you guys up here." He said, "As you should." And so when you have guys like that are okay with getting coached hard, even after a win, you can do special things. And so I'm unbelievably grateful. You probably guys haven't heard me talk this glowingly about someone this many times, but it's just what he's done has just been like this. And that's the goal of our program, to make our players play their best version of themselves, be the best on the field, off the field, and in the classroom. And he is become an amazing leader and also an excellent player.
Is he a big unknown when you got him, because he didn't play? He wasn't really a part of the team his last year at SC, and it was late in the portal process. Like, did you have any idea that he could be that kind of guy?
No, when we met him, he's obviously unbelievably professional and put together, and there were some connections with some guys on our staff, and his dad Claudius was a great guy, and so I just felt great about the interactions. And like I said, he came in an amazing spot. My point is just you come in from a different culture to our culture, and you have to you can either fight it or adapt to it. And some people adapt to it, but not everybody like embraces it until it's too late. So sometimes with some guys, I'm like, man, if we only had one more year for this guy, if only we could have him for one more year. But guys like Sierre, like they've done that. He's not only adapted, he's embraced it. And what that then does for me is when he says to me, can we do this? Or when I have a question about the schedule, I say, Sierre, what do you think about this? And I'm just going to do what the players ask because I trust them so much. And so, but yeah, there was obviously anytime you bring someone in, there's some unknowns, right? And we made a real commitment after last year. We didn't want any energy vampires in here. We didn't want guys who complained. We wanted guys who were grateful for all the things that they get. And so, I think he amongst many guys leads the way.
Do you have any favorite story that jumps out about you over the past couple years?
Oh, man, you've like stumped me like 3 times in a row here now. I'm proud of myself on not getting stumped. I just think the fact that after every pregame speech and after postgame speech, I kind of look. He's like kind of waiting for his turn. I'm like, go ahead, bro. So, between him and Ja'Cory, I'm going to be out of a job here soon. One of them, they're great speakers, but I think when you get up and speak in front of the team, your team knows if you're full of it or not, or if you're a real guy or not. And so seeing the way they interact with him. He's a real guy off the field. So, but having guys be willing in this day and age to get up and lead the team, not just after wins, but after losses, it's pretty powerful. Thanks.
Thanks.